Yeah, exactly. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. And can you hear me, guys?
Yes, I can hear you well. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you. And we have some people in the room and we have online, and many people will actually be watching the recorded video. So, but you can stop me anytime you have a question here. And thank you for coming. And I will actually show my PowerPoint slides first. Okay, so this talk is for CP degree plan, and it's the right time for you guys to be interested in this. And there's some really great news I'm going to share very soon. Just in the past, I think, do I do an admit?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you can control from your other computer as well, right? Anyway, I think I'll just click the.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's have you started recording?
Oh, yeah, it's been recording.
Do you see it?
Or let me.
I just want to make sure it's recorded.
Yeah, it's recording.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, so then no better time to really join our computer engineering program. And what happens is that in the past month, we had a state site visit to create a new PhD in computer engineering program. The site visit went so well. So I think whenever you actually get the degree plan signed, I'll actually send you a video of our facility tour. It's amazing to see our computer engineering faculty member doing various research. I can't believe it. This is actually first time we put all things together, and you'll see. So this batch, you'll see what's going on, and you actually know professors now. What they're doing is really exciting. What happens is that people say, I'm just still bachelor's degree. Why it matters to me? Yeah, it really does. Because first, it raises the visibility. Okay, because now the computer engineering always behind electrical as far as I can remember, right? But now we are actually packaged as a standalone, not unit, but entity is not the right thing. But really, we are visible in terms of computer engineering. That will attract attention to our programs. If there's anything that actually benefits bachelor's of computer engineering, master's in computer engineering, and eventually PhD. So the local industry and the nationwide will know that we have a visible program there. So everyone benefits. All right. So again, for people who don't know me, my name is Yuhua Chen, and we have many Chens in the department. I'm the only white Chen. So if you find my name hard to pronounce, just if you just talk with your friends, white Chen is okay. And just call me just Dr. Chen, I guess. And that's my whole name. Is my email address. It's also on the website. And computer engineering, as I said, it's the fast growing discipline. You cannot believe that even just maybe 8 years ago, we say to other people, oh, computer engineering, they design computer chips. Not anymore. The umbrella is expanding to artificial intelligence, robotics, and medical devices, everything that's in the field. And so no better time to actually jump into this. And opportunity is so much, and locally, NASA is taking our computer engineering students, and many oil gas companies, they do lots of computer things behind it. And their computer includes two parts. One is part of their embedded systems. They need our computer specialized chip for them. The fact is that computer engineering students learn how to design chips, but for oil gas companies, they cannot afford to do ASICs, which only actually get reasonable pricing if you get millions of chips. For them, it's very special need. So for those people, they want FPGA designs. I'll talk a little bit later. That's my course, my favorite course. And then they hire computer engineers to do those specialized chips for them. And outside of this, we have IBM actually in Houston and doing chip verification branch tasks. And there are so many NASA contracts that really approaching us all the time, asking for more students. And this is what actually I showed during our site visit. This up-to-date map showing where the computer engineering jobs are. It's very surprising. Even when I saw that first time, I really didn't realize that Texas has the same color as California in terms of computer engineering jobs. And this is repeat all over and over again. I have tons of actually different maps showing where the pays are, where the job openings are. Every time Texas is highlighted. And we have a national hotspot in terms of computer jobs. And we have locally Houston, Dallas, and Austin all on this national map visible. Extremely, really attractive. So these are the snapshot. I actually did this in the COVID-19. I thought no one's going to hire, right? Amazing. What I find is that everywhere, and they are looking for computer related positions. And also they have a wide range from junior to senior positions. And the location, if you want to stay in Texas, we have San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, of course, Houston as well. And there will be equally long list in terms of California jobs. So it's really being computer engineering, you have a choice where I want to stay. Do I want to stay closer to home or want to be very far away? We have two types of students, right? And the other students say, okay, I want to be close to home, but I don't want to be in Houston. Great, you have Austin really expansion in terms of computer jobs. So you can have just maybe 3 hours drive away, be home when you want, and stay away from your mom and the family when you want to have some freedom. So I think when you pick a kind of concentration or your future career, you want to think a little bit longer where the jobs are, right? And does that fit into my lifestyle? And I think everything is really good. Now going to the technical things, I cannot. So for computer engineers, at least for the degree, there are not many choices you need to make. Okay, and I will give another talk for embedded, and you will see that it was so many decisions you have to make. So for computers, if you see, you only need to pick basically 3 things. 2 are the CP electives, and there's one so-called free electives, but has a string attached to it, which means it has to have a lab credit. So only 3, but otherwise they actually already planned this out well. They already have agreement with computer science department to even waive some of the preliminary requirements, prerequisites. They actually waive those for our students. So, and then they can have optionally taking additional computer science department courses. All right, so I guess you will not go around for following this flow chart, and I'll talk more in today's talk about how to choose the 2 CP electives and also the opportunity for the EC elective. Okay, so this is what you see, and I think before you hit my course, I don't know for you guys, have you ever hit the MicroP yet or not? Not yet, so it's coming. But I think I really encourage everybody to listen to my talk in your kind of the semester before your junior year, because it's literally a 2-year planning. If you show up too late, again, especially our special courses are either fall only or spring only, so you could be off by 1 semester. That means you are really off by 1 year. So it's great that you are here now. And then since most of you may not have actually taken the MicroP yet, but don't interpret this dotted line literally. This was a historical artifact because people here long enough know that used to call the 4436. MicroP was that. And then because it's 4, so people tend to take that later. And to address that, the problem where they have to finish everything within 8 semesters, they made that dotted line, meaning that you can take the MicroP along with my digital design course. But really, it's not optimized. You need to at least understand the major components inside MicroP before you can design any specialized circuitries. So I think just we don't want to change anything on the catalog. That's why it's still there. But just as this line showing up, the first kind of row you have to take before your second row, okay? And for the first row, it's pretty obvious, the electronics, and again, making sure you do a good job in digital logic. And for MicroP, my advice is really truly understand what is actually says behind the scene. Actually, we have maybe some supplementary courses you can take to truly understand that system when you hit the later course. Because some people actually approach me and say, I hate MicroP, and should I go with the computer engineering or even embedded, I say that you hate that because you didn't truly understand it. Okay. And again, that's true for lots of undergrads. Lots of people, even from different side of the world, they came to me after they take my advanced hardware design, which is graduate level course. They said, I've taken that so many times, never understood until now. So it's natural, but I think we have a way for you to get onto speed by taking the courses we plan here and truly understand what's behind the computer. So I think we have extremely a strong team, and you will see just a little bit. So making sure that if you're in computer, MicroP is the basis, because you're going to touch that topic over and over again. Don't matter if you're computer engineering or if you're embedded, because if you look at the bottom 3 courses, 2 of them are based on the MicroP. They are advanced work. Okay, you can get away with that, but try to understand it fundamentally on the MicroP side, especially assembly. Okay, and then you have built a very solid foundation to it, and digital logic as well. That's the foundation for my advanced digital logic design, right? But we will use the entire different approach. But the idea is that truly understand what you're supposed to do. Okay, and bottom line, I just joking. You just need to come to my class, knowing binaries and knowing hex representation of that. But of course, I expect more of that. So with all these choices, I want to give you advice how you can choose. We have, again, this page is prettier than the next page. So I use this to explain more. The first course is called 4437, which is embedded systems. Okay, I use the short name for easy. That's what we really talk about. And that's a lab-based and project-based course. They will use ARM processor, and then they teach more advanced topics of it. And eventually, they will make a robotic car and learning how to drive that with a kind of computer-controlled Bluetooth connection. And the 5436 is actually a co-listed course between undergrads and grads, and they actually turn out to be 2 different course titles. For undergrad, it's still stuck with the old name, which is Advanced MicroP. But what it really teaches is the intro to IoT, which is Internet of Things. It's really popular. Everybody should know that. And RTOS, if you haven't now heard about that, it's real-time operating system. That means when you have embedded system, you have all the sensors. Some are more critical than the others, right? But if your process is busy with something, it may not even see the signal coming in. It's really, really dangerous. So in that case, you need a real-time OS to say, oh, this signal is high priority. So whenever there's a change on that, I need to stop whatever the process is doing and attend this task. So those are the foundation behind the real-time operating system. And so those are the actual content in that course. So maybe a couple years ago, we decided to upgrade the course title to reflect the content. Because I think the reason that people are scared of advanced MicroP because it has MicroP inside, right? People are scared of the 3436, so we want to change that impression. But unfortunately, we submitted 2 request forms. One went through, one got denied. So we end up with 2 different courses, but it's the same session. People share the same classroom and so on. So the content is really IoT and RTOS, and very advanced topics. So don't be scared. And even you didn't do too well in MicroP, you still can catch up in the later courses. So that's the second course. So the last course is my course. I'm going to come back a little bit later again. And so that's a course that teaches a slightly different skill set. That means I just mentioned before that we want the dedicated circuits, right? So again, even in the previous electronic session, we have integrated circuits. That's what actually my method is mapping to. I design from high-level integrated circuits. And again, because of the advancement of the devices, we have 2 approaches to get the design. First is to do the ASIC approach, where we actually map them into the wafer and produce those tiny little chips, package and send out for special use. And but those requires a huge amount of copies to actually average out the cost and make that worthwhile or cost competitive. So the other part is to map the same design into a device called FPGA. That's Field Programmable Gate Array. And that's a device you can kind of buy off the shelf. but the chip, once you get it, it had nothing in it. So unless you program it, we don't want to use the word program because it's, when you write, it sounds like a program, but you're really actually program it with the special circuits, the binaries. Okay, so my class teaches a way to design from the top level all the way to a state where you can either map to ASIC designs or the FPGAs. And FPGAs has another advantage is that we actually have the hardware board. You can download your design onto the board instantly, see if it works or not, right? And most of the time, of course, it doesn't work the first time, or the first 3 times it didn't work. So students spend lots of time just debugging, but having fun. The minute they see that design works, that's the moment they will never forget. Okay, so that's an attraction on my class, but that's very different from the other 2 classes. It's not good for everyone. So as a computer engineer major, you have to decide which 2 out of 3 you'll be signing up for. And I'll talk about my course more because usually it's only about 1/3 of the students actually taking that class because it's extremely high load. The expectation is so high, and you need to get really prepared for it and to be well. And I expect people get A's. I gave huge amount of A's, not because I gave easy A's, because the amount of work that people put in. They actually start their work on Friday noon for the next week's work. So they work through the weekend, enjoying that the time because they're ahead of the timelines. The second one is because they really want to put efforts. And my labs are all with the 2 weeks time frame, very tough. We do non-trivial labs. And I think that my lab's designed in only way in the nation. No one actually gets a peek into my labs, and people really interview well. But the only way that people can achieve an A or perform well is that they are loving what they do, and they don't count, oh, this is my leisure time. Oh, I'm going to play my app a little bit before I come back. No. And for most of the time, they will follow my directions in the lectures, and they just do on their own. And some of the lectures are actually a pre-recorded one because that was derived from the asynchronous course that we actually put in place during COVID. But the minute actually I made that one, I said, wow, I can't even believe that the people actually listen to my lecture, remember everything and making the lab work. Because usually I have 99% of attendance rate, and my class was always being like 8:30 in the morning. I had full class with no distractions, no multitasking. When I see the classroom, there was a full eyes looking at me. So they literally have to remember everything I said in the class and going back and make the work. So the minute I actually did a asynchronous recording for all the lab instructions, and I teach around the labs. So whenever you actually want to achieve something, I say, oh, to achieve this, we need that. So again, people can watch my videos multiple times. I think for a 50-student class, I was looking at, I had 700 views for each lecture. So it almost make me feel like a YouTuber. So it's really fun, but students had much higher success rate on labs because first they understand better. The second one, they can actually do ahead of time because in the general in-class lectures, I have to worry about the pace for the entire class. Sometimes they repeat things, but now I just say, watch this again. They all understand. They all know exactly what to do. But you say, why is so time consuming? It's because if you made a bug, okay, I remind people, try not to do this and all that, but people still make mistakes. And sometimes a single typo causes them overnight time, right? Sometimes 2 days. And one of the interesting things was there was a student coming to my office one day saying that was a lab after their first sequential lab, and it didn't work. So that day, I never asked that question to students. I said, did you connect the clock? Because that was the second sequential lab. I would just randomly say that. I don't even think I will hit. And she was looking at the computer, forgot to assign a clock. And once you connect the clock, everything works. So there are so many different things that could go wrong, but that's the fun part that you dig in and you actually enjoy the process, of course, the end product. And the student spend extra amount of time to do the bonus features. And in terms of grades, that's only 5 points for each bonus features. People spend lots of time on it, but they enjoy the process. Again, this approach is not good for everyone. So if you are not the ones who really self-driven onto every single detail, and the other thing that's making that challenging is that there is no software behind it. There's nothing except your brain to make that work. So once you turn the board, the only thing that can actually react to you is the power light. That was it, nothing else. So every connection from the button all the way to the module that you want to deal with and passing down and coming back up to a display device, you have to touch every single signal. If there's one thing that goes wrong, it doesn't work. If there's no single piece of software, and there's no helper. Just imagine that. I think everybody played around with Arduino board, right? How easy it is to make a delay. You say delay 100. Do you know that my current students are actually working really day and night on a timer? And if I tell you for make a 1 second timer, how many modules you think you need? A 1 second timer. That's not, so the ultimate goal is to make a game timer of 99 seconds. And so if we had to make a 1 second timer first, how many modules? Modules is just a standalone, like a chip, you can zoom in to make another chip hierarchical thing. So how many modules to make a 1 second timer? 5. Okay, at least it's 50% correct. So you make 5 modules to make a 1 second timer. And the other thing is now you get a one time out every 1 second. Now you have to drive this 2-digit 99 second timer. And people can say, oh, I can do the subtractions when I was second grade or first grade, but they never realized to teach FPGA to do this 2-digit subtraction by 1 every time, it was so hard. People have been working on it for 3 weeks right now. So that's the interesting part. So if you love those challenges, and that's a class for you. But if you are not the person who is patient enough to actually sit down and think, and that's probably not good. So for those people, if you want to be more towards the processor side, and you will take the left 2 courses. And again, for people who really think, yeah, I love the challenge, I want to challenge myself, then ADD, that's why I call my course ADD is for you. So for people who actually take that option, I want to recommend that you take the embedded system in the fall and the MyAD in spring. And usually you have to wait for a year. People literally are on the wait list for a year from now to actually take my class. But I do take a few juniors every year. So those are the ones who are showing interest in the bachelor to master accelerated programs. The other is to compete for my next year's TA. Because I exclusively use ASAs, undergraduate TAs on a course, because they've been through the program, they knew how to help students. So if you are those people, you can actually request that to be actually taken in junior year. And I had some success. Again, if I put it in, you need to promise me to work your hardest as possible to rise to the top, because I only hire the top students for my TAs. Okay, so after that, this is not too attractive, but don't interpret this as so that's why I already say prerequisite for MicroP here, although it was co-requisite, but don't believe that. Okay, we teach a language specifically called Verilog HDL. Okay, those are the hardware description language. It looks like C, but we are not writing a program. We are actually letting the tool to generate circuits to support whatever the functions you need to do. And FPGA can do multiple things at the same time. Okay, so that's the beauty of FPGA design. I really love it. I have like 10 brains doing the same thing, the different things, same thing or different thing. For doing the same thing, you can actually put down 10 copies of your design. They all actually doing the computation at the same time. Or you can program one module for one thing and the second module for the second thing. So you can put as many, as long as they fit the chip, you can do as many modules as possible to do multiple things. So I really love it. But the other top 2 are also good. So The advanced MicroP is also spring only, and my class is spring only. I'll mention the forms, but these are things I will say do not take in the same semester. So if you don't want to take the embedded systems, you will take either my course first if you qualify for the TA competition style. Then I will let you in my course first, and you can take your advanced micro in your graduation semester. But otherwise, don't just squeeze those in one semester because you'll be overloaded. And especially I'm going to talk about the two new addition to this mix, which are called short courses. And what I want to make sure is that you're not simply filing a degree plan. It's literally your career plan. Okay, so the next maybe a couple months when you actually fill in that form and hand to me to get signed off, that really dictates where your future will be. All right, so hopefully you can have an informed decision made, and this is why I'm here to help you. Okay, and our core curriculum are anything but blue. Okay, and those give you pretty good foundation on the, for example, if you see it on screen was the initial, the theory, and then the design. But then remember the next step is the prototyping. And in the middle, you saw in the earliest speaker's talk that it actually has real world IOs. That's when the theory or ideal world meeting the real world. And that's what we actually found missing in our curriculum until today. Okay, so you are the actual first audience to hear this, and you are the first batch to get this gap filled. So we just recently creating 2 short courses. Those are not full credits, but really help you to fulfill the entire chain for your very successful career. So the courses are called embedded system interfacing, and there's another course that actually verifies the FPGA designs. It's called UVM, which is Universal Verification Methodology. That's an industry standard for any verification of the chips. And the interfacing, as you can see, remember the flow that from the ideal design, theory, design, and then it meets the real world where you can see those ugly analog sensor signals, and you have to drive the actually non-ideal devices, and you have to deal with all the interfacing standards because all your chips are interfacing with CPUs, GPUs, FPGAs, and some customized devices. So that's where actually it was lacking. Just imagine if I deleted these 2 blue boxes, it would be actually 2 big holes there. And that's what actually learned sort of a hard way. And in the past 2 weeks, I recommended maybe over 10 students for job interviews because this year they had tremendous amount of openings. But they all, because I recommend them because they did well in my classes, right? Various classes right here. But the interview doesn't start with my classes. So they basically all fall off the cliff before they even hit my core class. And those are all bright students. So we decided that we're going to actually help our students to really prepare for the real world. And by creating those 2 courses, and these are additional fees, I'll talk a bit later, but just to make sure that our students could actually take it, we gave our UH students huge discounts on that. But in the end, we want that to be part of the curriculum, although those are not for credits, but you'll receive badges. You can put on LinkedIn, everything. But honestly, what you actually get is the skill set that prepare you for being a very, very successful engineer. Okay, so that's your, don't treat this degree plan lightly. And again, if you're not sure which one you should take, always email me. We can have a Zoom meeting before you fill out, or we can have email back and forth. And again, to support this effort, in the fall, we are creating 2 sections of embedded system, both in fall, but on different days. So to make sure that professor can take care of everybody in a timely manner. Again, we can have a size control in terms of class size. All right. And I will try to play this little animation a few times. Okay. And what's the difference between these 2? Not a whole lot, right? But then this gray box rise from the low point to high point. Okay. Why? The bottom part, the gray part, is our master's degree program, and the top part was your bachelor's degree program. But by taking the advantage of the accelerated bachelor-to-bachelor program, you literally taking the same courses, but you are 2 ahead of other people in the master program. That means if you apply now, if you're a good GPA, you can apply any time now or in your junior year, and to take advantage of double counting 2 co-listed courses. And those courses will stay on your graduate program for up to 7 years. So don't think you have to commit for your master program full time. You can do that part time as well. But taking 2 courses off your list is tremendous help, especially if you're doing that part time. So there's no loss on your end at all. So what happens is that we have lots of co-listed courses. For example, the advanced MicroP was co-listed as RTOS and IoT. And my ADD class is double listed both in undergraduate and graduate program. And you can only double count if you know ahead of time. And by the time you sign up for those classes, you have to sign up the 6th level course instead of 5, because the 5 will not count towards the graduate degree no matter what. So you have to plan ahead. And Dr. Trombetta is the one who's in charge of the program. If you are interested in, talk to him early and get the paperwork done, because some people just by themselves taking those advanced courses without telling anybody until later, that got lots of trouble. All right, again, being in the program will make you eligible for many, many opportunities. For example, we constantly getting requests from the industry to say, can we have internship students? But junior or early years, summer, it's really not tremendous because they haven't taken core courses yet, right? And then by the last year, they're not eligible anymore because they're in the graduating year. So being in this program, making the transition from bachelor's degree to master's degree actually a internship summer instead of an ending summer. So you are eligible for many, many internships that's available for advanced students. And also for me, actually, we sometimes getting sponsored projects at school, not in the summer, the whole school year, and students get paid. And if you're not in those long kind of commitment programs, you will not be able to take those because they don't want to fund a student just for 1 semester and you'll be gone. So if you can actually work for the last maybe couple of semesters in your bachelor's degree, plus the master's degree, which you could get easily within 1.5 years if you actually plan ahead. And the company will actually pay you for your entire duration. And then they will recruit you heavily after your graduation with master's degree. So that's really important. So this slide shows you this new program, not new program, but not many people are aware of that. There is a GPA requirement, but talk to Dr. Trombetta to see if you are eligible for it. Okay. So the next one will highlight the new blue additions to this mix, because we found that if we pair this along with the embedded system or the advanced MicroP, we can prepare you guys really well for any industry-based jobs. Because once you get to the company, you're no longer living in this ideal world. They'll give you a bunch of devices. And the hardest part for embedded system is not the actual brain part, because once you get the signal into the processor, you can do whatever you want. So the most challenges is to do with the signals, the devices are all of different standards on different buses. Do you know the actual principle instead of just name? Can you actually write efficient code to take advantage of the interface abilities? So the short course, which is an 10-week course, will address that problem. In addition, this one also tells you all the kind of junk components around the embedded board that unless you are really intensive, you don't necessarily understand. Even people from our programs probably only take those courses a while back and never actually have a use case of it. So when get interviewed, those are just names. They say, yeah, I definitely heard, but they never can understand and explain. So they literally fall off the cliff before they even hit the core embedded systems. So again, I'll talk a little bit about the program, and those are 10-week based and very light load. That means you can take that along with any of these courses without overloading your kind of schedule. And these will be module based. So we have 8 modules, each one focus on one aspect of it. And I will put in maybe an hour and a half up to 2 hours lecture. And the lecture will have 2 parts, the theory part and also the practice part. So we're going to use real ARM processors in the real-time operating systems and demonstrating how you can use certain bus standards to get the readings from different type of sensors, and also how to drive external outputs. And then the one thing I want to make sure is that people will enjoy this learning process. So there will be no quizzes and no exams, but you will have assignments. So we have guided assignments. That means you're not going to be scratching your head. So by following the steps in the lecture, you can actually enjoy the final product. You actually either repeat or modify to have an end result. And so both the embedded interface and UVM will be structured this way. And for UVM, which is a universal verification methodology, it can be taken by two sides of people. First, people who are taking my ADD class. And because we designed the chip, but we have to make sure that we verify that extensively to make sure it's working, right? So having the UVM formal methodology will be a plus when you apply for jobs. The other is that if you want to really like software, and you probably don't even take my course, you can still take the UVM, because UVM traditionally being considered a software job. Okay, but people who actually can design hardware has an advantage, because the way they know hardware can be designed and what are the corner cases that will be facing by hardware design versus software, make them a better verification engineer. And then these are useful also with my advanced hardware design course, which is the graduate level embedded course, and my we have official FPGA and ASIC verification course at graduate level. Okay, so actually I actually pair those classes with those advanced classes as well. So this short course is shared among the undergrads and the grads, but we want to teach in a way that everyone can understand. I think the bottom line is, if ever taken MicroP, don't even have to fully understand it. Okay, we want to teach from there and making sure that you truly understand and enjoy embedded systems. All right, so that's the course that we're going to actually experimenting with what's called a course companion starting this fall. So I think whoever signed the degree plan last year, they will get an additional notice on this. And so they will be notified to take this course in addition to their planned course. And again, this is not for credits, but definitely prepare you to be a better engineer. Okay, and then we really want to help students to actually deal with the, I think, added burden on financial side. So you will see later, we give deep discounts to students, making sure everyone can actually take that. Okay, and I want to make sure that people understand the difference between our courses versus outside the online courses. The short course will be online. It's called asynchronous online. Actually, I think people heard about how I taught my AD class in past few years. They will tell you that my asynchronous online course will feel a lot more interactive than any of the in-classroom classes. So I got very successful experience. So I will be producing all the courses. I will get help from Dr. Harry Lei to prepare the course materials together. We'll test all the hardware we're gonna demonstrate, but I will be teaching the courses. I'll be the only one who will be recording the courses. I will be the one who direct how we should present each module, so you get the best benefit out of it. And then the other differentiation factor of us versus the outside cheap online courses is that we actually teach the real thing. That means we don't just teach the syntax. For example, UVM has extensive libraries. They have lots of syntax structures. Almost all the outside lectures that they teach one by one, these are structures. When they demonstrate, they use teasy examples, how to test an adder, how to test a D flip-flop. Everyone knows how. But after taking that course, you still don't know how to verify a standard industry standard modules. So we teach on the other way side. So we can actually present a really sizable design from industry components and industry quality controller. Then we don't teach language necessary. We take that, we say these are needed to test, and also we study the specification. That's the right way of teaching the verification course. Then we decide, okay, what are missing? What UVM can help us? Then we use the need. Then we show you these are the components that can help you to make that testing environment set up. And these are how you actually drive it. So we teach top down. That means we want you to learn verification methods, not just syntax. It's almost like if you learn a new foreign language, I learned the rule book, the grammar, but I can still not talk, right? So that's the same thing. I'm actually trying to learn Spanish, but I listen to the lectures from universities. I know all, not all, but most of the rules, but I still cannot talk. That's a real thing for me. So I'm still struggling and trying to at least devote to maybe 10 minutes a day, but not a whole lot. But I feel like I know the rules. I can tell you, I even can get the lecture about the rules, the grammars, but I cannot speak at all. Okay, so the difference is this, and also we have human behind it. Your work will be verified by our instructors and TAs, and there will be no multiple choice problems. Okay, and you can actually get in touch with the professors during the course anytime. People who took my course and knowing that they probably get 3 minutes reply if they're lucky enough, but definitely within a couple of hours, we will get reply. All right. So, and this one, we gonna actually, this first time we're gonna put this as a course companion for the two courses, both the embedded systems as well as the MicroP, advanced MicroP part. So, and you have a choice to take the interfacing course only or the UVM only. Those are the people who taking actually my ADD class. But if you think your field actually in you're gonna touch both, you want to take the combo. Okay, and for the fall, we'll give a special rate. Usually we get discounts when you sign for both courses. But if you're in the 4437 for the fall, and again, another one is my advanced hardware design, which is graduate level embedded, they can just take a single interfacing course getting the combo rate. Okay. And then people saying, Dr. Chen, what if, especially this cloud, you probably won't take embedded until fall next year. Okay, what happens? And again, you can see these are the fee structures for each of the courses. The regular price is $24.99. And then for people with referrals, you get $17.99. And these consortium memberships are the collaborating industries. If they send their engineers to our courses, they get $15.99. But I understand that these are the huge kind of amount of money for our UH students. So we should really literally push that down, and we got a special approval from the university that we are allowed to at least getting the regular rate of $7.99 each course. And we plan to keep that for our UH students and alumni for quite a while. Then because we are pre-launching this courses and you get a special rate. Okay, so currently, if you take, you decide to sign up for the both courses, you get $5.99 for the UVM and $6.99 for the interfacing. That's including the hardware you need to purchase. And then that's by payment by July 15th. But then I'm starting to worry about the audience today. You won't hit those courses until next year, right? So I actually made a new category called prepaid rate. So this includes anything about embedded or advanced MicroP that people plan to take in 2024. So if you complete form and also pay by that date, so I'll make a note that you won't take the course when you pay, okay? I'll put it into your next year's schedule. So when you actually have your classes kicking, I'll put you during that time. And because after July 15th, the price will be $6.99 plus $7.99. Okay, and I think it will stay that and up for the rest of the time in the future. So I think that's a huge discount if you actually can decide to come in now. That's $200 off. Okay, and these are also like a couple of $100 off our regular prices. And for a single course, again, you pay only $6.99 if you actually can commit by July 15th. And from that point on, it will be $7.99 for the rest of the course. So if you think definitely you will hit either 4437 or 5436 next year. And I don't think the banking interest give you such a high rate. So I think you will be seriously considering taking that advantage. Okay, so those are called pre-launch rate, and those are only valid till July 15th. All right. Again, so for if you decide to prepay for next year, there are a bunch of options. You're eligible for that rate. If you will show me that on your degree plan, you'll be taking interfacing, UVM, and so on by next year. Okay, so I will send a form, and once you decide to actually sign off on degree plan, you decide to do a pre-launch rate, you'll fill this plan. But if you decide I'll pay later next year, then this is the form that you don't have to fill out now. Now, let's take a little bit time for instruction on how to complete a degree plan. I think now everybody knows the idea about how to put the courses in. So there are two forms that you may actually encounter. One is the current form, and that's on the website, and Ms. Amanda is actually working on a new form. So she's saying either one is fine, and depending on when she will release the next one. So I'm still using the current form as my example, just a little bit. So the next one, if you're actually listening to my talk now, and you can even request a recording link because you want to hear that again. And other people working, and before they actually have me to sign the degree plan, I will send them the video. So they have to watch them before actually I will sign off on their degree plan. And then when they want to get approval, there are two things. One is that they have to watch the video. The second one is that they have to tell me if they will be interested in my course or not. If they're interested in my course, they have to write a paragraph. Some people wrote an essay about why they want my course. So, but at least in the email, some people really formally actually typed in and put in PDF, send me as attachment, almost like a short essay. It was really cute. But otherwise, I just wanted informal email saying they watch my video and knowing the challenge and so on, why they want to take this course still. And then after back and forth, I will say, okay, maybe I'll make judgment if that's good for you or not, then I will sign off. But signing off is not the end of the degree plan thing. So as I mentioned earlier, we want to make sure first you're on the priority list for my 5440. Turning the degree plan doesn't mean that I know you will be taking my course, although I sign off, but it's not database focused. That means I do not have access to all the turning in forms. And the second one, you cannot do query on this. So I need to take control of that. That means when I send you back the degree plan signed, I send you additional link to call the degree plan information form. And in this year, everyone who actually had a degree plan signed me will be filling out these. They will actually look at the degree plan to see when they plan to take my 5440 and when they plan to take 4437 and so on. So I know when I actually send approval form to the department to add your ID in there. And in addition, that basically, because we do bundle for both semesters, so you have to acknowledge that you agree of that. And I think the price is really reasonable. If you are really on the UH's, I think, financial aid plan, and you want to get a further discount, approach me separately, showing your documentation that's approved by UH. We will see what we can do with the university to give you further reducing fees. But otherwise, you will be acknowledging, yeah, you will take the companion short course along with the course we have planned. Then after that, after you complete my information form, then submit your signed degree plan to the link that Ms. Amanda will talk about. Okay, so that's the flow of completed degree plan. Then we'll look real quick on the actual degree plan. Oh no. looks like me.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so red. Okay.
Oh, hold on. I think we might have a question.
Mhm.
I'm majoring in computer engineering, but I want to specialize in embedded systems. Are these distinctly different, or is embedded systems under the computer engineering umbrella?
Yes or no? Okay. So I think the question, you probably can see the screen. So you want computer engineering but want to really specialize embedded. You can actually pick either way. Okay, because as you can see that under computer engineering, you can literally bypass my class. You're taking exactly the same classes as the embedded system kids, right? But it's really depending on if you feel like you're stronger in computer science side or you're stronger in the electronic side. So I guess if you are really loving the circuits and the embedded system, go with BSE with embedded concentration. But if you say, I love programming a lot, and for embedded, I do know the surrounding things, but I think I want really focus on the inside. Or if you want to say knowing my course and the embedded, the center part, and then you, again, the other side, you really love any programming like Python, whatever available, you jump in, right? I recommend you to be computer engineers. But honestly, it's really the skills that you have. When people interview you, they don't care which degree you graduated from. They will ask in-depth questions on the flow chart, the chart I show. If you know everything in detail, it doesn't matter. They will hire you anyway. If you don't know, it doesn't matter how you mark yourself, right? You don't know the true things, and it will not fly. So let me, because the time is, let me, sorry, I always talk is always a little over time, but hopefully you can still have the patience to watch. Oh yeah, the older form, the submission link is right here. So you click this, no one saw it. And again, that's from your original PDF file, not from the one I returned to you, because after that, it's an image file of a PDF. So you have to go to the initial one, and Ms. Amanda has the new link for the new form. So that's where it is. Okay, so let me see. All right, so you already know everything you need to fill out the form. So we already said 4437 is fall only, and the other two are spring only. Don't put these spring only in one semester, okay? And so now you listen to all these. If you don't like my class or think that's way too much for me, then put the top two in this one and two, order doesn't matter. Okay, again, it's always working well because the one is fall and one is spring. So the two easy electives out of the three, you just pick two. But for advanced digital design, before you fill in or you fill in as the template, you need to email me and explain, as I said, why you want my class. And if time allows, I'll talk a little bit more about it. And I think that there's an analogy I use in my past talk I really like. I'll talk once I finish this kind of paperwork. Okay, the other is the EC elective plus lab. That's tend to be really challenging. But recently, we actually had a few more course added to the pot, because older days, you either can do control or you can do internet working. Those are the only two with labs attached in relatively related fields. But recently we find people really like to take a machine learning or GPU programming. So we urge them to create additional lab session for our CPE students. So that's why you see here, those are marked as special topics, but you have to sign up for both. Okay, making sure don't miss the lab session, otherwise you will not be graduating on time. And once you sign for the lab session, the professors will give you additional lab assignments to complete. Okay, so I think if you don't have a screenshot here, then you can always request a video link, even for people in the audience now. And once you have that, email me and make sure that you have the title clearly specified, CP, degree plan, and your last name. Because otherwise, it may be missing from all my tons of emails. And usually in those seasons, I search for my CP degree plan, they will pop up. And the other thing is that don't think you download the file from Miss Amanda and listen back to me. So when I save it to my drive, I have version 1, version 2, version 13. It's a nightmare. So make sure if you listen to this and rename your file into your uppercase last name plus your first name, okay, before you send to me. And I think that's even true when Miss Amanda wants to save those into her files. Now have so many collisions.
Is the machine learning class offered in fall and spring?
I think those are fall only.
Fall.
Yeah, I think the GP is also fall only. Yeah, actually all three are fall only, the internet working, the machine learning, and the GPU. Okay, All right, so this is another thing. So this is not required by Mr. Amanda, but I really require everyone who actually I sign off because our courses are once a year. So if you just can pick and you later found out you have 6 courses in one semester, it don't work out. You have to plan ahead of time. So that's why you have to explicit type in not just semester 1, 2, 3, 4, because fall and spring are different. You're supposed to put in different courses. So for this year, you need to put fall 2023 as the first semester, and so on. And I think I probably don't care about the early things unless you already plan to take these courses or taken these courses earlier, then you have to show. But otherwise, studying for the fall, then you put in case you want to take that in the fall, you will take embedded, but you will list all the planned courses for the rest 2 years. Here, then I don't remember exactly each one showing on which semester you're responsible for that. I'll double check micro courses. So if I sign off your degree plan, but you accidentally put a elective in the wrong semester, you're taking full responsibility. But to minimize errors, okay, before you fill out, go to Google and search for UHEC Spring Fall. Our webpage always show up in front. Okay, so we have a webpage showing all our undergraduate courses, showing marking if they offer both semester or either spring or fall. So before you actually fill out this form, go to that webpage, double check, triple check. It's your responsibility for taking care of all these things. All right, and then I really hope that people can type in, but I just realized that the students don't have the full Adobe thing. Yeah, I don't know, but still sometimes people actually typing with things, and so I don't know. If you actually write, just be prepared that you might write again. That's all I can say. Yeah, so that's basically for degree plan. So I guess if you listen to my thing really, really clearly, and so this should be clear. So just reiterate. Yeah, one thing I want to say more about my course is that my course, I make sure that my course is super clear. So you need to put effort in, but you should never get confused. That means if you don't get it, just watch another time. You definitely will understand. So everything is done in a so intuitive, understandable way. And when I record it, I try to be truly real. That means I don't have any solutions on my side. Actually, I never coded a thing for all the labs I talked about. And I redesigned the labs in the past few years. So I was just sometimes I was driving to the classroom. I said, "Oh yeah, this is a nice feature." So once I jump in the classroom, I start to draw, and so we actually get piece of piece. But so what you have here is a final, really polished product. But I had no single line. So the first few years, I said, "Oh, I just thought it really worked." So, and again, for this one, I don't have a single piece. And there, I tell students, even in the lecture, if you see a white screen that was blank, that's all I have. I had nothing on, I don't even have a piece of paper or another laptop or anything. So everything I actually came up with at that moment, I teach. What I want to teach is how to think, okay, as a student or as an engineer. It's not, to me, the textbook is always bad because they always show something and they show the perfect solution. And they don't show the thinking threads. Okay, even they actually show the solution. That's not how people think. So in my classes, I show the natural thinking threads. And this is how you sketch when you solve a problem. And the next level, oh, you realize this is another problem. You're going down deeper. And sometimes because I, for all the sample code, I just type right in. Maybe I came up with topic to type in just 5 minutes before that. So you show, and sometimes I get typo too. And it's fun that when you compile, then it get compilation errors. Then we go back, and once you see that actually even professors make errors, that makes them feel so much comfortable. And then by accident, I show them how to debug. So everything you see on my lecture, although it's recorded, it's so natural. And then it was not pre-prepared. I taught the same way as I go to classroom, I had to write on a blackboard. Okay, so that's what happened. And again, this last analogy for my course is that I build this super strong wall, but how much you get from the class is depending on how much energy you get in. Everybody know the basic physics class, right? So if you have a ball that you really have prepared a bouncing off the wall, then if that's really heavy and the momentum is really strong, you get whatever you get back, right? But if you have a very soft ball, it's very, very slow, very small, and you bounce and it falls down, right? So that's exactly what you get from the class. How much you put in, you get double things coming back. And then when I first get this analogy in one of the live talks a couple of years ago, there was instant response from the audience saying, that must be a heavy ball. Everybody laughed. So I think that's a good kind of analogy to my course. That's you really have to put everything that you have into the class, you get the best out of the class. Okay, so the bar to get about class is pretty high, but you have to be kind of going over yourself to getting and get best out of it. So I don't want B students. If you want to get a B or less, don't even request my class. I want straight A on this. Even your other class is not A's or straight A's. There's plenty of opportunity for you to get A. The minute you put in effort, you'll get A. Okay, I only want people who want to achieve A in my class. And my highest average for the scores is 104. That means people did everything excellently. They do all the bonus features. So when I run all the across the midterm, final exam, assignments, labs, they end up with 104. Okay, and then that's the one we actually recommend them for job opportunities. All right, so yeah, I talk long, so I let you ask some questions if you have. Yeah.
In the chat. Oh, no, never mind.
Does anyone have any questions about anything you've heard? And maybe, I know you guys said you guys are sophomore. I believe you're also sophomore. I'm doing it on. I just put my name. I don't know.
Do you? Okay.
I'll do my life.
Mhm.
So were y'all always offering the machine? Well, a lot of people I know are taking this for that class, which I see why y'all had the lab, right? So was that always was it like on for a bit, or was it always an option?
Which class is it?
The machine learning.
I don't know if it's gone a little bit because previously CP students cannot take it because they only had 3 credits. So the lab credit was added last fall, I believe. And at that time, most people already had degree plans signed way back. So not many people taking that. So I think this is the first year I'll be fully telling you it's available and they'll be starting to take those. And the machine learning is always in the fall. I think Dr. Han always teach all his class in the fall. That's I think the arrangement he had.
So I checked this now. I see the end of the section of 1397. I didn't see that.
You have to ask him, but he at least for my record is in the fall only. Yeah.
So I saw a lot of my peers that.
Yeah, sure. You definitely should take a machine learning class. And then if you are interested in the bachelor to master program, then he has another graduate level class, machine learning. Yeah, and again, I think some are co-listed, so you can take maybe undergrads for now, then later on from graduate level. And
the bachelor's to master's accelerator, you have a limit of you can only double count 2 courses, right?
Yeah. The question is for BS to MS accelerator program, how many classes you can double count? Only 2, but you have to plan ahead before you sign up for that class. Otherwise, it's too late. So, for example, if people actually in my 50 for 40, I say, "You're doing great. Can you do that?" They cannot use my class anymore because before the semester starts, you have to be in the 6th level class to double count. But we do have several options. Even for the internet networking, there's a 6th level course you can sign up for, not necessarily my class. So we have, I think, the advanced MicroP has a graduate session and only 44, 37, that's undergrads only. But everything else, I think we have an echo in the graduate session. I think machine learning, we may have 2 options, but a lot of like GPU course has a co-listed course. So it's easy to meet that requirement. And so any 2 will work, but for CPE, especially there's one thing I think Dr. Tremay is working on that is that for example, it's 50/40 or any lab courses at undergraduate level, but same course is marked as 3 credits at a graduate level. So they have to, I think they find a work around it. They may actually ask you to create another independent session for it. But since you're doing lab anyway, so you'll get whatever the grade you get for the actual course for that independent session. But that's still the work in progress. I don't have a final thing, but I talked to Dr. Copmlete last week. That's a plan. So you will not necessarily force you to take another lab course. Okay. All right. Any other questions here?
Let's see, we have one more in chat.
So the question, I'm starting to learn how to write drivers for Linux. I was wondering which course will help writing drivers in Linux or using other operating systems. I would say just there's no course that teach you direct, at least no course here direct teaching you how to write drivers in Linux. But for example, my graduate level course teach how to write drivers in assembly, which is the foundation for any of the systems. You have to know how to access those in terms of machine language. So I teach that. And the other thing is that for the new short courses, we may teach how you actually masking bits and getting signals. Maybe there's a port, but shared by different devices. So when you're actually reading or write out, you want to make sure you don't turn on and off on other ports. So those can be done in, I don't think it's the OS part, but we will just use our embedded system code, and then we will show you how to reading and mask the bits you don't need and how to set bits. So we have, so in that case, with the demonstration, we just see it's not direct tied to Linux, but that's true for all the OS that we're supposed to see. That's pretty the same. And my graduate level course, going one level down, fundamentally, this is what happening at the machine level. Okay, so I think even the basic ideas about the masking happen in the MicroP. And actually last week, one of my undergrads got interviewed by industry. They asked about that. I said, because I actually arranged some graduate students with the interview. I said, oh, graduate student, they took my course. But undergrads, he took the MicroP maybe a year ago, but he magically answered the question correctly. So the same concepts are going to touch up in multiple rounds, but I don't think we actually teach directly on Linux, because Linux is not real-time OS. It's not super useful in terms of our embedded system where we want to guarantee the performance. Yeah, but that's a very good question.
Does anyone else have any questions in chat or with you guys?
No? All right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Share my.
Everyone, one more thing. I think there's something important I would like to let you all know, and that is, let's see, here we go. All right, everyone. So this is the current CP flow chart. This is going to be very true. However, starting in the fall, let me see. Starting in the fall, this class right here, Math 3336, also known as discrete math, is changing into Math 2305, right? And this has some serious implications. For instance, now engineering math is no longer a prerequisite for discrete math, this course. Now it's calculus 1. I think it's Math 23. No, excuse me. Well, yeah, just calculus 1. You'll know. So that's out of the way. And now, as a result,